Talks'lar.
Merhabalar herkese. Hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün İngiltere'den London'da mühendislik programlarını Gökçe Hanım'dan dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı sağ alt köşede Questions bölümünden yönlendirebilirsiniz. Buyurun Gökçe Hanım, sahne sizin.
Thank you so much. Hi everybody, my name is Gökçe Dyson. I'm joining you from London today. My role at TEDi London is Student Recruitment and Admissions Officer, and hopefully I will give you an insight as to what TEDi London is and what degree programs we're offering today. So, you possibly haven't heard of us before because we're quite new. We're called TEDi London, which is the Engineering and Design Institute London. What we are, in summary, is we are home for an open-minded, creative and problem solvers who want to make a difference to the future. But what we actually are is we are a new higher education provider. You can see the three co-founder universities on the right-hand side, which I'll tell you a bit more about them later. We offer a global design engineering program. So we are quite a small specialist institution. And we are a very much hands-on and project-based institution, and our programs are led by the industry. So to come to our founding partners, I'm sure you would have heard all three universities before, Arizona State University, King's College London and UNSW Sydney. All three of them are top engineering universities in the world. And the way that they formed TEDi London is all three institutions form a group called Plus Alliance. It's a bit like Russell Group, really. They all have been working together for a while to create more diverse engineering cohort of students, a bit more creative, and students who are ready for workforce after graduation. So they thought that TEDi London was the answer to many problems that we're facing currently in engineering study. So we have, like I mentioned, one degree program which is called Global Design Engineering. So you can either do a BEng degree, which is a regular 3-year Bachelor's of Engineering degree in the UK. Or there is also an integrated master's program available on the same degree, which is 4 years. So at the end of your degree, if you also want to hold master's qualifications without having to apply to other places, you can opt for MEng degree as well. Our campus is located in Canada Water. I'll show you a map of where we are and our campus a bit later. And you can see our fees for international students here as well. We do have some good scholarship opportunities, again, which I will be telling you a bit about later on. So what is Global Design Engineering? It's not a well-known program. It's quite a new program. What it is essentially is looking at global world problems such as poverty, sustainability, climate change, and coming up with design solutions to those problems. So this is what the main idea of our degree is. It's a general engineering degree. It's not a specialist program. It's not like mechanical engineering or software engineering. So what it means when I say a general engineering degree is that you will be taught many modules, and these modules will have crossover with mechanical engineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering, bit of product design, bit of environmental engineering. So what it gives you is a really broad range of skill sets, and so that you can go to whatever field that is your passion, that lies your passion basically after graduating from your degree. It's an industry-led and a project-based study program. Usually on a traditional engineering programs, you would do a lot of theory in your first year, maybe first 2 years, and then towards the end of your degree, you'd get to do a lot of projects. We're doing this completely different. So from day one, you start working on projects, and these projects are all real life projects that are co-delivered with our industry partners. So whatever you're working on is not just something that you're doing for the sake of doing. It's a real project that's happening outside somewhere, either in your local community or broader global community, and you see the impact immediately. To quickly talk about why you should study design engineering. So one thing is that if you know you want to do engineering, but you haven't decided what field in engineering you want to go into yet, it's a good program because, like I said, it's a general engineering program. So you don't have to choose at the beginning. Through the projects that you'll be doing at our institution, you will over time build a portfolio, and you will sort of sample all sorts of different fields and decide which one that you really like, that you want to go into. But also there's an annual shortage of over 50,000 design engineers in the UK. So it means after qualifying as a design engineer, you can then quite easily find a job in your field. There's a bit of a study going on here as well, conducted by totaljobs.com. The average salary for a design engineer in London is £68,916. Obviously, it doesn't guarantee that you will get the salary. It can be a bit below that, or it can be a bit over that, depending on your qualifications. But this is an overall estimate of what you will be looking into earning after completing your degree in design engineering. So to give you a bit of an idea on our assessment process, if you want to study global design engineering at TEDi London, the first thing that you will be doing is submitting an application form. Then we will receive your application. Our admissions team will review it. Then you will need to take a numeracy test. Now, this numeracy test isn't about what knowledge in maths that you already have. It's more looking at your ability of learning. This is just for a chance for us to see if you can keep up with the requirements of our degree program, because it's quite an intense degree. So if you do pass this numeracy test, then we will send you a project brief. Now, for international students, this will be an online thing. What will happen is that we will send you a project brief on a design challenge. We will give you a problem, and we will want you to come up with a design idea to solve that problem. It shouldn't scare you, because we give you learning resources. It only takes a couple of days, maximum a week, for you to sort of sit down and think through your ideas. You don't actually have to go out there and do something. This is just for you to come up with ideas. And you will be asked to do a presentation on your idea for about 5 minutes. On your assessment day, you will be presenting your presentation to us. There will be a member of the academic team and member of the student recruitment team on your panel. And then you will just get some questions. As I've mentioned earlier in my presentation, TEDi London's looking pretty much at really creative students who love solving problems. And this is just a way for us to see if your skills really match our program, because we're not too grades focused. I will give you the entry requirements for Turkey shortly, but we care a lot about how you are as a student and how you work as well. So after your project presentation, then we will also ask you a couple of questions about your ambitions of studying engineering. It's not too formal. And then at the end of your interview, you'll also get a chance to ask us any questions you have. It's always a two-way process. So we are trying to understand you and your skills, but it's also an opportunity for you to first see how it is like to learn throughout your degree at TEDi London, and also for you to ask us any questions that you may have about studying in London, at TEDi London, student life, anything that you can think of. So after your interview, obviously, then if you are successful, you will receive an offer to study at TEDi London. Following that, we will want you to send us your IELTS results. We're looking for minimum 6.5 in IELTS from students. and then you will need to obviously apply for your visa. Then you are good to go and start your degree in September with us here in London. So to look at entry requirements for Turkey briefly, if you are studying at a high school, the minimum grades we're looking for is between 65% to 7%. If you are doing an IB diploma, then we want 554, sorry, at higher level. If you're not there yet in terms of these grades, but you're really interested, then you're always welcome to contact us, and we can just have a one-to-one session with you and look to see if we can admit you to our program. But I think if you look at the engineering degrees and their requirements overall, this is quite a nice band. It's not as high as some other universities, but that allows us to look beyond your grades, like I said, and evaluate your skills for the program. So this is our ground floor on our campus. You'll see some other photos. This is our event space. We have student presentations here. We have loads of great industry links. People from different engineering companies come and give masterclasses. This area is our little cafeteria. Our students like to come and work there all together. Sometimes us as staff members have our meetings there as well. So it's quite a contemporary environment. There you are. This is our Makerspace A. This is what we call our labs. We have 4 labs on our campus at the moment. This is one of our academics, Kate, working on the 3D printer. This is one of our classrooms with our students working on a project together. There's a lot of collaboration, which I'll tell you a bit about later as well as part of our degree. I will skip this quite quickly, but I can forward the link to our modules, and you can actually go to our website and read about all these modules and see what they mean and what you'll be doing as part of them. But these are the modules you'll be taking on your year 1. All the curriculum has core modules, so you don't get compulsory modules, so you don't get to choose because it's a general engineering degree and there's quite a lot to cover. So we have one set structure for each year. You know, from design engineering to prototyping, you know, reverse engineering, modeling and simulation. You get all the technical background you really should on your first year. As part of reverse engineering module, for example, our students this year took apart our aircon system on our campus. And so they had this whole thing, and then they took it apart, looked inside, and then they came up with an idea of making it more energy efficient. And then they worked on that. They used some knowledge from modeling and simulation as well while they were working in reverse engineering. And they then put together the system and then tested it. Obviously, not everything was right. This is what happens with engineering. You have an idea, you test it. Oh, there are problems. Then you go back and then you try to solve those problems. And then you try your new idea again. So there's this practice going on throughout your degree. Designing for smart cities is a great module because you can choose a city of your choosing and then work to design a part of that city, or I should say redesign, and make it more sustainable or energy efficient. So there's quite a lot of social engineering that's going on as part of our degree as well, because it's not just about the technical side. You really have to think about all the problems that we're facing currently. You know, there are all sorts of problems that the pandemic, COVID created, for example. So you're always thinking about, you know, what are the problems out there and how can I actually apply this technical knowledge that I'm building and solve those real life problems, if that makes sense. So this is our year 2 modules. Again, our degree program is more like a funnel. So it's not like you take some modules, you learn whatever you need to learn on year 1, and then you move on to something else and you learn something completely different in year 2. That's not how it works usually. What happens is that, like I said, it's a bit of like a funnel. So you learn a lot of things. You get to your year 2. It's a bit more advanced. So there are still new things, new ideas and concepts to learn. But you always revisit whatever you learned in your first year and apply some of that knowledge onto the projects that you'll be working on your second year. So you really learn, you really use everything throughout your degree. And this is our year 3 modules. So as you see, it's not as extensive, the module list, compared to year 1 or 2. It's because year 3 is usually you to focus and specialize on the area. We have a professional portfolio module. You get a bit more soft skills, you know, innovation, entrepreneurship, bit of business skills that you will need in engineering. But also you have this global design engineering individual project. So this is where you just come up with whatever you want to work on. And then we find you an industry partner that can support you. And then you're actually working with a real company in order to build a project. And then you can take that further if you are doing an integrated master's degree and work on that even more. If not, then you can leave it as it is at the end of your 3rd year, and then you can actually go into whatever fields that you worked on as part of that project later on when you graduate. To give you a bit of an understanding of how your typical weekly structure would be. Now, to bear in mind, this is a full-time degree program, so we want you to spare 40 hours a week up to studying. It's not quite like the traditional engineering degrees. We don't have lectures. What we do is we have an online learning platform called the Learning Tree. So as you see here, during the mornings, you have independent study sessions. So apart from Wednesdays, on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays, you have your makerspace sessions in the afternoon. So makerspaces, to remind you again, are our lab sessions. So this is when you are working with the machines. This is when you are working on projects. So whatever you'll be doing in the afternoon, the morning study is helping you prepare for that afternoon session. Again, it's an independent learning time. So you won't be coming onto a campus and sitting down with 200 people and listening to a lecturer. You will be learning through the online platform on your own. What our students really like doing is some of them come onto the campus in the morning and they go through these online learning platform notes all together. If that's what you like to do, you like a bit of a social atmosphere, that's fine. But some of our students prefer to just get on with it on their own, in their own time. So they just either do it at home, or we have quiet study rooms on our campus. You can book one of them, go there with your laptop, and then work through. You really need to do this. It's online, but it's compulsory. Like I said, you really need to go through whatever is uploaded there by our academics, because that prepares you for the afternoon session here. So every morning you have that time to work through the notes, and then you have your lunch break. On Thursdays, currently, we have an informal lunch club. So our academics are actually sitting down with students and they all have lunch together. So you get to chat to your lecturers, your professors, ask any questions you have. And then we have the sessions at the makerspaces. And then afterwards, early evening is additional tutorial support. So what happens during those times is you can either have one-to-one session with your academics, ask them any questions that you have. If you're struggling, they're there to help you, so you can raise any issues you have. But sometimes during those slots, we also have industry people coming onto our campus and giving you masterclasses. Sometimes you go to these companies and you actually do a bit of like observation and see how they're working on. So it's not just based on our campus, but that time is just to support you. Our careers people regularly, go through sessions with students to prepare them for future employment. Our student experience team sometimes schedule sessions during those times to help students, to remind them all the support that's available on our campus. Now, the reason why you can see there are no sessions on Wednesday, I'll explain that a bit later. That time is for you to join any societies, have any practice sessions. If you're part of a sports club, arts club, whatever that may be, you can go to the gym, you can go to the library to do some research, you can take some part-time work. So you have that free time on Wednesdays and Fridays to use for yourselves. Now, speaking about industry engagement, these are some of the links that we have. We, I think, have about 20 industry people that we are in partnership with. But because we're quite new and we're building, if you are interested in one particular area to do some work placement or to do a project on, and we don't already have an industry partner in that area, we are very easily able to go do some research and find people to support you. So we're not just limited to the partnerships that we've already raised, but British Land, Transport for London, UK Engineers Without Borders. This institution does a lot of work with, Australia, America. Our students were involved in a project with UK Engineers Without Borders last year. Hawkins and Brown, we are partnering with Dyson as well, so they send some of their materials to us for our students as part of their reverse engineering module to take apart. Ninja as well, we are partnering with. So there's quite a lot of opportunities for these partners, a lot of engagement. They're not just there as names. You really do loads of projects with them and engage with them throughout your degree. Our degree is, again, quite different to usual traditional engineering degrees in terms of how we assess students. We only have one exam at the end of each year. You are 80% assessed on project work. There may be group projects, individual projects, there may be presentations, you may be asked to create websites, short videos, posters, you may be asked to do some demos on whatever materials you're working with. So there are quite a lot of different mediums that you'll be working on, but you're mainly assessed on the projects that you're doing as you go along, which is supporting that very hands-on environment, because like I said, from day one, you come onto campus, you have your induction, you have your health and safety classes, so you learn how to work with these machines in a safe environment, and then you're good to go. You're able to start working, 3D printing stuff, you can laser cut things, you can engrave wood, whatever really takes your fancy. So this is our campus. We currently have 24 students on our campus. This is our first cohort of students because our first cohort of students started last year. We're planning on building from there year on year. We have a bit of a space here right next to it. So as we grow, we already have the planning permission to build this exact same looking campus, one more right next to where this is. It's a modular building. It's not a permanent building. So depending on the need, we are able to move things inside and shape it, which when you're working on projects come really handy. So I mentioned we're based in Canada Water. Canada Water is in southeast London, which is right here. So we are 2 stops away from London Bridge. It only takes 10 to 15 minutes to get to the very central London. So we're just on the other side here. So it has a very central location. But also the reason why Canada Water is a really ideal place is there's a big development plan going on in the area. And our students are very much involved in these local area projects that are going on the side as well. I did mention that you have that time to yourself on Wednesday afternoons. Now, our students have access to King's College's Student Union. So what that means is you can use King's College's gym and library facilities, but also you can sign up to their clubs and societies. The reason why Wednesday has that kind of block is because usually King's College holds all the sessions within clubs and societies on Wednesday afternoons. So that then gives you enough time to get onto King's College's campus and attend whatever society you signed up for. I know a couple of our students have signed up for those societies this year. One of our students is on the swimming team for King's College, and he quite enjoys the challenge as well. So it's a good way of networking with King's College's students as well for you. So like I mentioned, we have an international student scholarship, which is called an International Excellence Scholarship. This is up to 50% off the annual tuition fee. So our annual tuition fee for this year is £28,050. If you do get 50%, it means you will be paying around £14,000 per year for your degree program. Now, if you are awarded this scholarship on your first year, as long as you pass your year and you proceed to year 2 and then year 3, this carries on. You don't need to submit an application, or you don't need to achieve a certain grade. So it's quite good. Like I said, if you do get this awarded, then it carries on throughout your degree. The way that this is allocated is, like I said, we have an assessment center after you apply. We want you to do a little presentation on a design idea that you'll have. So it's based on that performance that you show during that presentation as part of our assessment center. Later on, our scholarship committee gathers and decides which students get the scholarship. Now, this is up to 50%. It's not guaranteed 50%. So you can get 40, you can get 35%, 20%. It depends on the grades that you will get through that assessment center. But many of our international students do actually get a scholarship. So it's a very good opportunity. And this then brings me to the end of my presentation for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. If you have any questions at all, I'm ready to answer them. If anything wasn't too clear as well, just let me know on either the chat or questions, and I'm happy to go through that with you. Right, if I start with the questions here, are the prizes I mentioned valid for EU citizens? If you are a EU citizen now, with Brexit, things are changing. I would need to check that, but I think it still applies. If you are a EU citizen, there may be other scholarships that you can apply to. And what happens is that when you submit an application to study, depending on your situation, we do send you a fee questionnaire to determine if you are a EU fee payer or an international fee payer. And then you can have a conversation with our team to see, after receiving an offer, what scholarships that you qualify for, if that makes sense. Do we have the opportunity to work as a student? Can you refer about the scholarship opportunities? So the work during study, as an international student in the UK, you can work up to 21 hours a week. So you are able to work part-time. Now you can either take on, usually students work at cafes and restaurants, or, you know, shops. But we also have a student ambassador scheme on our campus. You can apply to be a student ambassador. It's a paid opportunity. What student ambassadors do is they support us, the recruitment team, on the events that we hold. So they talk about their experiences, they talk about how it is studying at TEDi London, etc. So you can either do that, or you can just take on a part-time role at, you know, outside campus. At any place really, but you are limited to 21 hours. And engineering is a quite intense degree. You do need to dedicate some time to prepare for your classes beforehand. So you know, you should really have that work and study balance quite well, because you may struggle a bit later on if you don't. Do we recognize the IB credentials for engineering? Yeah, IB, we do. We accept many qualifications. We accept IB. We accept Turkish high school diploma, A-levels. So for IB, like I said, we want 31 and 554 overall. What you don't have to have is, if you don't do maths or further maths as part of your IB diploma, that's absolutely fine. Like I mentioned, we do have a numeracy test for people who don't have the maths background, because we're trying to diversify engineering. If you look at our program, it's a lot about creativity and problem solving. So, you know, people coming from maybe art and design backgrounds are actually quite good. They do have the background that they need for our program. So we don't want to limit engineering to just people who are really good at maths, because it offers so much more. So if you don't do maths or physics, you can still apply. If you do, that's amazing. For people who haven't studied maths in their last year or last 2 years of their qualifications, we have masterclasses to support them. So that is absolutely fine. I can go through the scholarships again. So for Turkish students, we have an International Excellence Scholarship that is up to 50%. You get awarded that scholarship based on your performance at the assessment center. So that 5-minute presentation that you will be delivering as part of the criteria, that's where it's really important to do well, because then you get awarded a scholarship. Like I said, it's up to 50. It can be anything between 20 to 50. But that carries on throughout your degree. So it's not just for first year, it's for second year and third year as well. Can I work as an engineer in London after graduating from TEDI? Absolutely, you can. That's the main reason why we were found. When our program was sort of built, our academics were very much in conversation with the employers, asking what they need from graduates, engineering graduates. And there was a big gap as to, we have really good graduates, but they can't apply the theory into the real life, into the practice. So that's why we are a very much hands-on and project-based institution. But that really prepares you for the workforce. And like I said, you do a lot of real life projects with the partners that we have. So you already start doing a bit of networking as part of that degree. So after graduating, yes, you can absolutely work as an engineer in London or anywhere else in the UK, not just London. You're not limited. What is the language requirement? So we only accept IELTS. Unfortunately, we don't accept any other qualifications. We want minimum 6.5 from IELTS. You don't have to have that when you're applying to study. All you need to have is a reference letter, a personal statement, and your a proof of your academic qualifications. If you have these, then you can apply. You can go through all this assessment process. After receiving a conditional offer, then you can you have some time until the end of June to provide us with your IELTS score. But to reiterate again, we only accept IELTS and we want 6.5. Can I work while studying? Yes, you can. You are able to work 21 hours a week. İsterseniz bunu Türkçe olarak biraz daha açık olsun geçebilirim. Öğrenciyken İngiltere'de öğrenci vizenizle 21 saat çalışma hakkınız var haftada. Part-time'a giriyor bu tabii ki. Full-time çalışamazsınız öğrenciyken ama part-time çalışabilirsiniz. Özellikle ilk 2 yılınız boyunca genellikle öğrenciler kafeler, restoranlar, kütüphaneler bu tarz yerlerde çalışıyorlar. Ama bizim bir de Student Ambassadorship dediğimiz bir programımız var. Eğer Student Ambassador olmak istiyorsanız TEDI London'da, o zaman normal degree programa başladığınız zaman bize istek gönderebiliyorsunuz. Bizim üniversite bünyemizde aynı zamanda öğrencilerimize ücretli olarak sunduğumuz şanslar olabiliyor. Bazı etkinliklerimizde bizi desteklemeleri için. İşte örnek veriyorum, öğrencilerle konuşup kendi deneyimlerini aktarmak için bazen normalde üniversitemize kayıt olmuş olan öğrencilerden destek alıyoruz. O açıdan kendi üniversitemizde de çalışma imkanınız var ama dışarıda da çalışabilirsiniz. Yalnız dediğim gibi full time bir program Global Design Engineering. Dolayısıyla part-time çalışmanız ve full-time öğrencilik programınızı iyi dengelemeniz lazım. Çünkü özellikle çok fazla çalışma istiyor. Dolayısıyla evet, yani 21 saat çalışabilirsiniz. Ama belki de başta bir 10 saatle başlayıp daha sonrasında ikisini birlikte yürütebiliyor musunuz? Engineering degree ve çalışma opsiyonu, ona göre o saati yükseltip alçaltmak size kalmış. What careers support will be available? Kariyer desteği olarak kariyer bölümünde çalışan yetkililerimiz var. Öğrencilerle birebir sürekli session yürütüyorlar. Bu LinkedIn profilinizi derlemek, bir CV oluşturmak, örnek veriyorum network etkinliklerine gitmek veya bir kariyer planı çizmekten tutun, partner olduğumuz iş insanlarıyla öğrencileri bir araya getirmek ve onlarla projelerde buluşturmaya kadar çok çeşitli bir şekilde kariyer imkanları için öğrencilerimizi destekliyoruz. Küçük bir takımız, çok büyük öğrenci kadromuz yok ve dediğim gibi açık plan bir sistemimiz var. Dolayısıyla herkes birbirini tanıyor, herkes birbiriyle birazcık sohbet edip konuşuyor kampüsümüzde. Kariyer bölümünde çalışan officerlarımız da genellikle kampüsten çalıştıkları için özellikle bir randevu almadan bile bazen öğrenciler gördükleri zaman gidip merhaba Steve, işte şu konuda biraz yardıma ihtiyacım var, bir konuşabilir miyiz veya sence buna nasıl yaklaşmalıyım gibi aynı zamanda gidip sorularını sorabiliyorlar. Çok fazla öğrencimiz olmadığı için sadece bir tane degree programımız var ve yeni bir kuruluşuz. O yüzden çok fazla, çok yoğun destek sağlayabiliyoruz öğrencilerimize. Bunu da bu şekilde belirtmiş olalım. Bakıyorum, yukarı doğru soruları çıkıyorum tekrar. Can we do different master's degree with department of bachelor degree? Can we work as an engineer at the same time during education? Mühendis olarak çalışmanız zor. Degree programınızı bitirmeden mühendis olarak yetkili biri olmuyorsunuz İngiltere'de. Dolayısıyla ne yapabilirsiniz? Belki de işte bu örnek verdiğim industry partnerlerimiz geliyor, networking, master class'ları veriyorlar demiştim. Hani burada güzel bir diyalog yakaladığınız bir firma olursa onların belki size daha sonra son yıllarınıza doğru önerebilecekleri bir part-time job opportunity olursa o zaman tabii ki çalışabilirsiniz. Ama bir mühendis olarak çalışmanız için önce degree programınızı bitirmiş olmanız gerekiyor. Başka bir master programı tabii ki yapabilirsiniz. Şöyle bir imkanınız var. Global Design Engineering genel bir mühendislik programı olduğu için 3 yıllık degree programınızı bitirdikten sonra İngiltere'deki herhangi bir üniversitede istediğiniz alanda, mühendislik alanında master programına giriş yapabiliyorsunuz. Tabii ki o üniversitenin, hangi üniversiteye gidecekseniz daha sonrasında belli başlı kriterlerini not ortalaması olarak mesela tutturmuş olmanız gerekiyor. Ama örnek veriyorum, Global Design Engineering üzerine bir 3 yıllık lisans eğitiminizi tamamladıktan sonra mekanik mühendisliği, elektrik mühendisliği, bilgisayar mühendisliği gibi farklı alanlarda gidip uzmanlaşabilirsiniz. Böyle bir hakkınız, böyle bir seçeneğiniz mevcut. Bizim tek başına bir yıllık bir standalone master programımız yok. Lisans programımız var. Dediğim gibi ya 3 yıllık ya da eğer master degree'im de elimde olsun diyorsanız 4 yıllık bir program var. 4 yıllık program yaptığınız zaman master'dan da aynı zamanda mezun olmuş oluyorsunuz ama tek bir yıllık bir Global Design Engineering Master programımız yok. Yani başka bir üniversitede bir lisans programı tamamladıktan sonra TED London'a gelip sadece bir yıllık bir Global Design Engineering Master'ı yapamıyorsunuz. Ama bizde lisansınızı tamamladıktan sonra herhangi başka bir üniversiteye gidip mühendisliğin farklı dallarında veya mühendislik olmak zorunda değil, Engineering Project Management biraz daha sosyal kısma giren alanlara da kayabilirsiniz mühendislik bölümünde. Umarım bu sorunun cevabını verebilmişimdir. Eğer başka sorularınız varsa veya sunumum boyunca çok net olmayan bir kısım, aklınıza takılan bir kısım varsa sorulardan bana yazabilirsiniz. Seve seve cevaplandırabilirim bütün sorularınızı. Bir dakika daha bekleyeyim. Birkaç dakika daha eğer aklınıza gelen sorular olursa. Onları cevaplandırmak için YouTube kanalımızda kampüs turlarımız var online. Onlara girip bakabilirsiniz biraz daha kampüsü görmek için. Eğer İngiltere veya Londra'ya gelmeyi düşünüyorsanız o zaman bizimle iletişime geçebilirsiniz. Birebir öğrencilerimizi akademisyenlerle birlikte tanıştırıp aynı zamanda bir kampüs turuna çıkarıyoruz. Şu an kampüsümüzde okuyan öğrencilerle konuşma, onlara soru sorma fırsatımız oluyor. Bu tarz imkanlarımız var. Online etkinliklerimiz var. Dolayısıyla eğer bizim enstitümüze ilgi duyuyorsanız veya Global Engineering programı evet ben bunu yapabilirim dedirtiyorsa size, o zaman bizimle iletişime geçebilirsiniz her zaman. Sanırım sorularımız bu kadar diye düşünüyorum. Şöyle tekrar bakıyorum. Bir şey atlamış olmayayım. Evet, sanırım bütün soruları cevaplandırdım. Tekrar çok teşekkür ediyorum katılan herkese.
Evet, biz de çok teşekkür ederiz Gökçe Hanım. Gerçekten çok faydalı bir webinar oldu ve bütün soruları cevapladınız. Cevaplarınız için de çok teşekkür ederiz. Ayrıca bir de chat kısmında bir mail adresi paylaşmanız mümkün müdür? Katılımcılarımızın başka soruları olursa oradan sizinle direkt iletişime geçebilsinler.
Tabii ki. Ben buraya kendi e-mail adresimi ekliyorum. Görebilirsiniz bu şekilde. İsterseniz bana direkt e-mail atabilirsiniz. İsterseniz bir e-mail adresi daha paylaşıyorum. Bu da genel e-mail adresiniz. İsterseniz hello@teddylandanac.uk'de yazabilirsiniz. Her türlü sorularınızı cevaplandırmak için buradayız. Tekrar çok teşekkür ediyorum Zeynep Hanım.
Biz de çok teşekkür ederiz. Ayrıca katılımcılarımıza da teşekkür ederiz. Umarım sizin için faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. Teddy London ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adreslerinden Gökçe Hanım'a ulaşabilirsiniz. Bir sonraki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Tekrar çok teşekkürler Gökçe Hanım. Size IEFT Talks'ta ağırlamak çok güzeldi.
Ben teşekkür ediyorum. Herkese iyi günler diliyorum. Görüşmek üzere.
Görüşmek üzere.